Welcome to Off the Cuff. I'm Derek.
I'm Kathy.
Welcome to our
Living room.
Yeah. So, what are we talking about?
I was thinking today we should talk about the end of the world.
It's a good topic.
Only because the coronavirus is making many people feel like it's the end of the world.
Right.
Literally. Not just like, oh my gosh, I can't see my friends and I can't go out to eat. But literally, is this end times
Right.
stuff?
Right.
Feels like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be.
This is the first time in, I don't know, 100 years that we've had a pandemic like this, right? 100 years, 102 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And the entire world is shut down and sick and dying, and it's terrifying for me, for a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, are you under the impression that this is, like for me personally, I don't think we're in tribulation end times. I don't know what your thinking is on that.
I think a lot of people are talking about that and asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the Great Tribulation yet. I don't think we're in that 7-year period.
Right.
But every day I think we're getting closer.
Sure. Yeah.
Some days I'm ready. Some days I'm like, no, I have things to do.
Right. And I know the Bible talks about birth pains and whatnot, and the ramping up of, war, famine, pestilence, things like that. I think we're more in that area. There are certain things that need to lead up to us actually being in the Great Tribulation. Depending on your views of Scripture, the church might not even be here to see that. So
that's what I'm praying for.
Yeah.
Pre-trib rapture.
And I get the feeling, no matter what belief system you have, pre, mid, post, I think everyone kind of wants to not be here during that time period. But I don't think we're there yet. There are certain things that, regardless of rapture stuff, need to happen before the Great Tribulation actually occurs.
Well, we need the
or even the time period just called the tribulation.
The signing of the treaty with the Antichrist. Isn't that what ushers in
treaty or covenant? Yeah,
an agreement.
Yeah,
there's an agreement with Israel that ushers in that 7-year period. Or near the beginning of it.
Yeah. There's also the temple that needs to be rebuilt for sacrifices.
Can that be rebuilt in that first 3.5 years as part of that covenant?
It could be.
I just don't know that it has to come first. To me, it just needs to happen so that midway through the Antichrist can sit and desecrate the temple.
Right. And there was actually I think it was a priest in New York was talking about how that was one of the things that needed to happen before that. But I think the point you just brought up makes a lot more sense, that the Antichrist would make a covenant with Israel saying, go ahead, reinstitute the sacrificial system. It's on you. Build your temple. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot more sense than the temple gets built, which, by the way, I could be wrong about this, but where the temple needs to get built is currently under Muslim occupation. So a lot of stuff needs to happen for them to actually be able to do that.
So here's where everyone's getting caught up. In the Bible, it says there's going to be wars and rumors of wars, and there's going to be floods and famine and fire and destruction and all things bad and pestilence.
Right.
And coronavirus is clearly pestilence. I mean, this is disease, and it's a big one. And we're at, 2 million people, I think, globally right now that have been diagnosed, and they're estimating easily twice that has been infected. And I think it's like in Matthew 24, the disciples were asking Jesus, how do we know? Is this it? How do we prepare? What do we need to know, Jesus? And he told them, you will know you're getting close because of the signs. Kind of like, I know winter's coming when the leaves start falling off the trees and it gets cold. Or, sailors would look to the moon. If there's a ring, they knew there was rain coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jesus was saying, you know what? No one knows exactly when this is going to happen. No one knows the day or the hour, but you'll know you're getting close.
Right.
So,
Right.
so like you said, with birth pains, having had kids, they start kind of mild and far apart, and then you start writing down your little chart, and they get closer and closer and closer, and they get stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And then at a certain point, they're like, all right, you better go to the hospital because you're going to have a baby. And I think that's
Right.
what we're seeing,
Right.
you know?
Right. I know for me, I would have traditionally said that the things that we're seeing in the world right now are not uncommon, and they're not uncommon, but the regularity that they seem to be happening in, and this is the first time that I've actually become somewhat uneasy with what is happening in the world today versus what I see in Scripture, because prophecy, end time stuff to me has always seemed very fantastic, and I've been very removed from it. This is the first time a big event has happened in my life where I'm old enough to actually appreciate the gravity of the situation. And when I look at it compared to Scripture, it does make me nervous. It does make me nervous. And can I say with 100% certainty that we're in the birth pain time? No, but I think the likelihood's pretty good.
Well, if you look at the prophecy and what's in like the book of Revelation,
Mm-hmm.
when people are suffering those judgments, I mean, and that is quite literally the wrath of God, the judgment of God poured out on the earth.
Right.
So no, I don't think this is like I've heard people say this is a started off as a judgment against China or a judgment. These are not judgments yet. When they're judgments, we're going to lose. You know, half the waters are going to dry up or turn to blood, or a third of the people on the earth are going to die. This is 2%, I think, which is high,
Right.
but this is nothing compared to what it's going to be.
Well, and also, there is something to be said that I have no doubt. I don't know anyone who's gotten coronavirus personally, or anyone who's died from it personally. Um, but I'm willing to say that there are plenty of Christians who have had coronavirus or and are recovering, or
Right.
have had coronavirus and have passed away because of it. And I don't believe anywhere in Scripture does it say that believers, specifically saints, Christians, are going to be at the hands of God's judgment and wrath.
Right.
So it wouldn't make any sense that this is a judgment that happens to spill over into Christians as kind of like a collateral damage. That wouldn't make any sense unless you're going to assert that God is sloppy, and I don't think
No,
any
I
of
think
us
you
would
know what,
say
and
that.
Christ was really clear. He said, "In the world there will be trouble, there will
Mm-hmm.
be trials, there will be tribulations.
Yeah.
We're going to struggle, but to take heart because He's overcome the world." So, to me, that just means He's going to walk through this. There's going to be hard stuff. The best is yet to come. He died. We just celebrated Easter. He was
Mm-hmm.
resurrected.
Mm-hmm.
He's overcome death. He's overcome all of this hardship. And if we just stay close to Him, He's going to get us through that, whatever that looks like. And there is an eternity of amazingness with Him that in one I don't know, First or Second Corinthians, I need to look. It says this these trials are momentary compared to the eternity that we're going to have with
Mm-hmm.
Him. And I don't think um, I don't think that this is anything other than a really good wake up call, if nothing else. God uses all things for good.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's a lot that's good that's come out of this. People are praying like they've never prayed before.
Yeah.
People are asking questions. They're spending time with their families. They're hopefully reevaluating what's important to
Right.
them. You know, so I think we need to take it as what Jesus said. It's a sign that every day we are moving closer to that point.
Right. Right. And I know during, right after the events of 9/11, there were plenty of people that went to churches, synagogues, temples, things like that. They didn't stay there. But, I mean, these large events, neither one of us would have wanted this to happen. But events like this do seem to kind of, like you said, wake people up. It gets them thinking a little bit more. It gets people like me and you talking, people trying to find answers, things like that, which, is the situation great? No. But like with most everything, there are those silver linings that pop up.
And,
And I think this is one of them.
and I don't think we should be surprised or worried about what does all this mean,
Mm-hmm.
because as I'm not saying it's not hard and it's not scary, but that Jesus said we shouldn't be surprised. These things are
Right.
going to happen and they're going to get worse. We've already seen, like, there's more earthquakes and there's more terrorism and tragic mass shootings and crimes and the locusts, all those giant grasshoppers that are
Mm-hmm.
eating South Africa, right? Alive, like a whole crop in like 30 seconds. And they said they're going to head to China next. I don't even know. But just that we shouldn't be surprised, because it is getting closer and closer to the
Right.
time when Christ is going to come back.
Right. Right. And I would say that this, just as a message, not just for us, but to um, believers everywhere, that you it's fine to look for signs and whatnot for the second coming, but we as believers, we're really supposed to be prepared now, not tomorrow, not when we start to see signs. We're supposed to be prepared now. So looking at signs, I think, every time there's a catastrophic event, there's any number of people that are saying, oh, this is it. And then suddenly there's this weird call to action. There should always be a call to action. And I don't mean that like critically. I'm pretty lame at it too. So we all just need to be prepared.
Well, I know for me, it's really easy. Like, I would tell you, God is my biggest priority. But if I look at my
Right.
life and how I spend my time, it's really easy to get caught up in the everyday things that are, I need to make more money and how am I going to get more clients, and, the things that seem to be immediate pressing needs. And yet, when I stop and think about it, I want to be about the Lord's business when He returns.
Right.
When He comes back, whenever that is, I hope He finds me doing something that's pleasing to Him.
Right.
Which I think is really a great message out of all of this, is just if you don't know Jesus yet, He is the one who has overcome the grave. He's the only one who has ever overcome death. And we just celebrated His death and resurrection. And He is the one who can give us that future and that eternity. Nobody else has backed up that claim.
Right.
So if you don't know Him, we love to hear from you. Please send us a message, ask questions. If there's something that you heard that you don't agree with, or you want to know more about, or we need to go find where those verses are, and post them and say, oh yeah, that was Matthew 24, or that was whatever space in the Bible, or we want to have those conversations with you.
And maybe there's something that you actually want us to bring up during one of these videos. If there's a topic that you want us to cover or something like that, please let us know. Comment, send us an email.
I think, just to wrap it up, there is nothing, at least for me, and I think we're in agreement, there is nothing about this virus that screams, this is God's judgment, this is
Right.
God's wrath on the world, this is the middle of we're headed into Armageddon right now, we're in the tribulation period. This is bad and it's scary, but there is nothing in Scripture that indicates this is anything other than those labor pains as we draw closer.
Yeah, if anything. So thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. God bless.